how do we make this work from a business perspective? HR. And they're like, we're going to figure this out. Sit down and figure it out. There's crazy things that are happening every single day. And your ability to just look within yourself and make a choice quickly, simply, efficiently, for the right reason for you, I think is going to keep you on track. And then bring people around you that are going to help to share that energy.
Don't conduct your analysis in isolation because data is so incredibly powerful.
Not defending just the tribe, but defending the organization.
Those creative people that you really want to keep empowered, keep excited, keep motivated, keep thinking.
A good experience pays dividends down the line.
Stereotypes tend to break down in proximity.
Welcome to We're Only Human, a podcast about human resources, business, technology, and the workplace. My name is Ben Eubanks, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Hey everyone, welcome to We're Only Human. So glad you're here with us. And today you are going to get a treat. One of my good friends is Amy Mosher over at isolved. She is an incredible leader, cares about her team, cares about the HR function and the people in it, just like all of us. And she and I love getting together. You're going to hear us laugh, hear us cut up, have some fun today, but also get some good takeaways on supporting your people and creating a culture, a company where people just don't want to leave. We're going to dive into all that good stuff today. So I'm so excited because I actually get a chance this fall to go and see Amy at the isolved Connect conference, their big event they hold for customers. And I'm going to be taking my 9-year-old son with me. We're going to go because they have Universal booked out. And so I'm going to take him to go to Superhero Island, whatever it's called out there, see some of the rides, do some of the fun stuff. And I love when I get a chance to bring the kids along with me for one of the things that I get to do, let them see someone out doing work they love and see what it's like out there in the world. And I've got my fingers crossed that maybe one of the kids will want to hop into HR after all that indoctrination I've done with them. So excited to have Amy here. This conversation is one of our replays from HR Summer School. If you do not watch HR Summer School every year, you are totally missing out. 7.5 HRCI and SHRM credits. It's completely free. It's virtual. It fits everyone's schedule. And so you can learn more about that at hrsummerschool.org and see the replay from this year. Get the credits if you did not attend. If you did, tell someone else about the episode. Let them know because I know you love Amy like I do. So here we go with Amy Mosher from isolved. Hey, Summer School family. So glad to be back here with you. And I am thrilled that my good friend Amy Mosher is here with us because if you remember Amy, she last year brought us one of our big ideas, one of our big takeaways, our big fun session in the chat last year was when Amy mentioned something about employee belonging being the ranch dressing of HR and coordinating on everything and making it connected to people. And so it has become we've got shirts out there now. George was wearing his a few weeks ago at an event. And so it's become a thing. So Amy is back with us again. She's going to share some things about what it takes to create a workplace people can't wait to join and don't want to leave, which are two important things all of us care about. So Amy, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. I am so glad to be here, Ben. Anytime I can spend with you is good time.
Whew, I would say the same about you, my friend. So before we get to some of the fun stuff, we're going to kick back and forth. And you've already promised me some energy, some laughs, some fun in this. So no pressure. Let's make it happen. Take a minute and tell the audience more about who you are and what you do, please.
I'm the Chief People Officer at isolved. We are a human capital management and solutions business. And look, I got the best job in the entire world here, Ben. There's no question. To be the Chief People Officer of a business like this is a dream come true for me. Prior to coming on board as the head of HR, I also was a client of the business, which makes it unique. And I get to grow companies and get to grow people for a living. So it's pretty fun over here. We are a high growth business. We are ever changing. We've grown exponentially in the last 4 years. We're going to continue to do so for the foreseeable future. And so we're an incredibly dynamic business. And we've built our business on great culture. So actually grown the business with the thought and the basis of culture. So I'm really excited to talk about this today.
And so when I hear you say that, that excites me because one of the first jobs I had in HR, I worked for a company where the leaders had worked for a smaller company. It was acquired by a bigger company. And the reason they worked at that small company was because the culture was employee focused. They cared about people and you could feel what it was like to work there was different. And they got acquired and swallowed up. And pretty quickly, everything sort of smoothed out to this pale blah gray of whatever the culture was in that bigger company. And they said, you know what? this stinks. We missed that.
Yeah.
Why don't we start our own company? And so he and a friend of his started their own company. And that's the company I went to work for as an HR leader for this startup that was doing some really cool stuff around training in the military, everything else. And so they saw the importance of that. I felt that early in my career, the importance of that. And now you have a chance to influence that. So let's take that as sort of our sort of guiding mark for this conversation.
Sure.
The title here is, how do we create a company where people can't wait to join? So talk about the importance of culture in that, how to make that culture visible outside our four walls, because good stuff may be happening, but if they don't know about it out there, we can't use it to attract them in.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I wanted to set kind of a stage here and say that when I came on board, we knew that we were going to have to build this business with rigor, right? Like it was primed and ready, great solution, great technology, really just needed to grow. And in order to do that, we were going to have to attract top talent in an industry where most of the other companies were public businesses that had a lot more cash, to be honest, to throw at these people. And it was a candidate market at the time. And so we really had to sit down and put our little thinking caps on and decide how we were going to attract these individuals and retain them as cost effectively as we possibly could. Right. And one of the ways that we felt that we could do that was by just injecting this incredible energy and utilizing the energy that already existed within the organization to build on that culture piece. Because to your point, Ben, we felt that many of our competitors in the market we were going to be getting talent from were Gray Suit, Gray Cube, HCM. As you get larger, kind of feels a little bit financial services-y, if you will. And not that that's a bad thing. It's just different. And so we decided we were going to be like the startup, high energy, young, cool place to work, because there wasn't really that alternative out there. And what we ended up finding is that we had all of that kind of basis infrastructure. We were a growing business. We had plenty of cash, highly profitable, but we still had that like high energy, let's go rocket kind of mentality. And so we doubled down internally and externally on the messaging for that to attract candidates. And so we built a culture based on high trust, high communication, opportunity, advancement opportunity, real advancement opportunity, transparency across the business. Hey, this is what's really going on in the business. As we grew, we were talking about things like, you know what we really don't want to do as we grow? We don't want to create silos, and we don't want to create this political kind of machine. We want to be open and honest and keep that going, because we were attracting candidates from situations where they felt restricted by some of those things. So we openly went and said, we are the anti of that, and created a culture of that kind of openness. We did it on the basis of diversity, which was really fun from an HR perspective. So we said, we're going to put together these really incredible ERG groups, these with EDI and B focus, and we're going to utilize that to attract, and we're going to dive deep there as well. That's not something that the industry was necessarily doing for us as far as talent attraction. And we really focused on kind of those underserved demographics, both culturally and from a traditional demographic perspective. And we were able to create this really diverse, kind of cool culture where people are happy to share ideas. We still have that really high energy. There's really high ownership and accountability as a result. And we've been able to maintain that. And here we are, over 500 million in revenue, marching toward $1 billion. It's a really cool place to be. And we're going to maintain this. This is foundational to us now. It's DNA. So I'm taking incoming calls right now because of the work that we've done there from a cultural impact perspective. I'm taking incoming calls from top talent at our competitor companies. That is a dream come true for any HR or executive, for that matter, at a growth business like ours. I've got to say, we're making it happen, but it's taking constant work. It's taking always, when we make good business decisions, it's founded within our values, and it's founded on our shared competencies that we've agreed to in our culture. And we're circling back to that. And as long as we continue to do that, we're going to continue to build this really cool culture. Of course, I'm excited. I'm the head of culture for the business. But what I also love is that we deputized our employees. So you can ask me about this and I'll say this, but you could ask some field sales rep and they would say the same thing. So we're just reiterating this messaging all the time, getting more people involved in delivering the messaging, deputizing them as culture leaders. Like, it's the coolest place to be right now. Feels so easy right now.
Maybe it's hard. HR is hard work. I'm listening to you talk about when you mentioned you have people calling you looking for, hey, can we work there? Like, I know some of the people by name that are now there and it's so fun to celebrate that. But I'm thinking about, I was presenting at this event a little while back, and one of the things I shared with the audience of HR leaders, just like the ones listening into us right now, I said, listen, if you can find attract and keep people better than the competition, it becomes a differentiator for your company. If you can do it a lot better, you become a market leader. And that's kind of where you're talking about here. Like we have arrived at this point where people are now chasing us because of some of the things we've done there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a hard question. Okay.
Please.
You had a chance to build this up, and that was not easy to do, but you've had a chance to build this up from a foundation up. Mm-hmm. What about someone who's already established and they have to pivot if they want to have a culture that they're proud of, a culture that really other people are going to be attracted to?
Right.
What advice would you give someone that this is all great for you, Amy, because you got to build this thing? I'm already standing on top of this pile of stuff. How do I adjust this? What advice would you give someone like that?
Well, Ben, I beg to differ because the company's been around since the 80s, and I happened to come on board and we happened to sit down and come up with this plan and execute on it. And that's how it happened. But it wasn't a new build. It was transformational. And I feel like the way that an HR person can get involved is by talking to their executive team. It depends on what's important to the executive team, the board, and the stakeholders of the business as far as where they want the business to go, and then identifying what the people drivers and the culture drivers are that can help to get them there. Like, for example, if cost savings is really important, or if finding synergies is really important, or growing particular parts of the business is more important than other things, if revenue is more important than profitability, you've got to think about what it is that the drivers are and talk about what the people drivers will be to get you there, right? So for us, it was, we got to find the top sales talent because we need to make sure that the revenue engine is running. So how do we do that? We're going to go and we're going to talk to salespeople at other companies that we want to get seasoned talent from and identify what do they really like about their company and their situation and what do they really not like about it. Okay, what they really don't like about it, great. We know we do that better. Okay, let's double down on the messaging for that. So it's a lot of intel there, but it's also how you can influence, even from a data and KPI. I know you love data, Ben. Data and KPI perspective, and put those KPIs in place to show executives and the board how culture does move the needle. If you can do things well from a cultural perspective, you're going to reduce turnover. A national average, which in my industry it's a little higher, at $18,500 per, just in fees and a little bit of lost bandwidth. Multiply that by the number of people that are leaving every year. You're clearly, there's cash savings in keeping great people. There's also cash savings in hiring the right people, clearly and obviously, in setting more efficient practices and hiring talent that is skilled as opposed to hiring talent that needs to be developed. Eventually, you'll also see cost savings from both of those scenarios, by the way, if you mix them, which is pretty fun, and a fun kind of data look, Ben, which we should look into at a later date. But there's a lot that you can do transformationally, but I think it starts with alignment from an executive perspective. I feel like I've had a lot of success culturally because I come at this with the business focus in mind, right? How can we improve revenue and improve our cost model? We can do it by reducing turnover. Okay, what do employees need to be successful here? How do we attract employees that are coming for the right reasons? How do we make sure that management is aligned to that and they're not hiring people that are not aligned to our values and who will not be enhancing the culture going forward? Not people that are the same culturally, but that won't be enhancing it. And how can we make sure that we're being consistent across the business in that? Because that's like how you achieve success here. But lots of fun things.
Well, I was going to say that connection there you're talking about to the leadership, that direct line, that's that understanding of each other, not just me taking all your instructions and going and carrying them out, but this is a true back and forth sort of dialogue. You talked about two things earlier. I didn't get to all of them when I was writing them down as quickly as I could. But two of the things
I'm talking too fast, Ben.
No, you mentioned transparency, right? That's important for that piece of it. And the data you're talking about, sharing KPIs, like that contributes to that. The other part of it that you mentioned was, hey, listen, do you want to work for those companies where it's like all politics and you got to do all these things to cover your rear end and you're always worried about something? You can go somewhere else because we don't do that here. That's not who we are. And those kinds of things, when you put that environment in place, leadership already is showing that they care more about the people, right? Because how they're going to drive the business results than just the results. Like that revenue by treating people like trash, not for very long anyway. You may get that short term, but long term, it's going to come back and bite you.
Yes, to be honest, as we're hiring new people that are coming on board, we're hiring people. And you can find people who also can execute. It is not a unicorn scenario. Like, this is possible. You just have to focus on it. And we feel like we built a foundation based on it. We hired a couple of very key hires that we knew were very strong people leaders. And they helped us to craft this messaging and helped us to perpetuate it across the business and make it okay to be transparent and okay to align to the culture above skill set even, right? We're looking for people who want to be here for the reasons that align with the reasons that we feel like make us great. So we're not willing to compromise on that. And so far it's worked out.
I'd like to apologize to unicorns out there because Amy has said that you can't be a unicorn that is a people unicorn and high performance. And she should not have done that. So poor unicorns, my 7-year-old will be devastated by that, Amy. Okay. Kidding aside, you have a pin that you're wearing on your, what's that called? Jacket, shirt?
It's It's a shrug,
sorry.
if you will.
Okay, sure. Not a phrase I've never used or may ever use. What does it say?
It's my people hero pin. So I am a people hero. At isolved, we feel like all HR clients are people heroes. We have a people hero network where you can get online answers, not just to isolved questions about our HCM business or our benefit services or HR solutions business, but answers from each other about trends at HR. And it's very unique to HCM. It's probably something, if you're not with isolved, you've never heard of before, but it is really, really fun. And it's something that I get to participate in almost every day, which is pretty fun. But I also am a people hero because I'm an HR person within my own business. And we're one of our most complicated, craziest clients. We utilize all of our own software solutions within isolved, which is also really unique. We like to drink our own champagne, which is fun. But I love wearing my people hero pen. It's really, really big here. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not branded because I believe in it so strongly, but also because I love pink. Like it just works.
Comes in handy. I don't think I've ever told the audience here this, but I've told you before. Like I came to the isolved user conference. It's called Connect. It's an incredible event. First time I ever had come to it. I was the first time to travel really much after COVID. Mm-hmm. So I got there, was like getting ready to go, and I had not packed any dress socks. But thank goodness, the isolved team had given away a pair of pink, beautiful isolved branded socks. So I had some socks to wear, and everybody was like cheering because I was like wearing the pink. I'm like, I didn't have anything else, so I'm going to go with what I got here.
By default.
So had to make it all fit together. All right. So I've loved this. Again, I knew we'd have some fun here. So the people listening in here, again, HR leaders, they're people heroes like you, like I have been in my past career, and they're people that are trying to do their best work every day. If you're going to give them some encouragement, like it's been a hard time. We've become experts in things we never thought we would or wanted to be. Like, thank goodness no more social distancing talk is happening in the workplace anymore. But there's other things they're being challenged with. Get the people back to work. They have to come back to the office or all kinds of other sorts of things. What encouragement would you give to our friends out there that are struggling, that are just trying to fight one more day? Anything you want to share with them to help lift their spirits?
I feel like find your internal motivation is really important. Like, why are you doing this? What do you really love about it? And then double down on those things. I love the human connection element. That will never go away for me. It's something that I preach every day, and I will continue to do that. And I share my energy, I think, freely with others, which is also really big. I feel like it's a good win for us from a cultural perspective. And I've also, that what I value, I try to hire individuals within my team to support me in these initiatives within the business, and even executives that share that value so that we can have a commonality and an alignment that is inherent. And it feels like we can do more, like 2 + 2 equals an infinite number in this situation. Like we have 2,500 employees, but it might as well be 1 million, right? We can do anything. And I think if I'm encouraging people around me, it gives me energy. That's my motivation. So find that thing that motivates you, double down on it, because self-motivation is the only way that you're going to get through the challenges that you need to get through. Every day, HR people are asked to do things they've never done before. Pandemic, everybody looked at us and went, how do we do this? And we all went, like, we've been through a global pandemic before, right? Like, or wage rates are increasing. Like, how do we pay people a new wage rate that is exponentially more than what we've had to pay before? Like, how do we make this work from a business perspective? HR. And they're like, we're going to figure this out. Sit down and figure it out. There's crazy things that are happening every single day. And your ability to just look within yourself and make a choice quickly, efficiently, for the right reason for you, I think is going to keep you on track. And then bring people around you that are going to help to share that energy.
Okay. Tremendous. I wrote down in my notes there, like HR is the we'll figure it out profession. I think that's kind of that no one else wants or no one else can figure out. They're like, they'll find some answer to that.
Literally.
Just like Amy's wearing her people heroes out there. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, my friend. You're a ton of fun. If someone wants to connect, like, can probably link, I'll make sure and connect your LinkedIn profile here on the chat, but also obviously they can learn more about isolved, all the good work that the team is doing there. They hear your joy, your excitement, your voice, and they're doing that for their clients. I've met many of them. They're doing some incredible work for all of them out there. So I'll make sure and tag isolved there in the chat as well for everybody else out there. Amy, always great to see you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
To everybody else out there, stay tuned for more good stuff coming up from HR Summer School shortly. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I'm honored to have you as a listener. If you enjoyed this episode, please take 10 seconds to rate it at iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, if you know a friend that could benefit from today's conversation, please pass it their way. After all, a rising tide lifts all ships. To see show notes, sponsor information, and our full show archives, visit onlyhumanshow.com.